I'd like to welcome Pastor Carl. Pastor Carl is Black Lives Matter pastor that's been at a lot of our protests this year, and he has a really important voice and narrative that we want you all to hear, so please welcome Pastor Carl.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone, and I'm so glad to be here to stand in solidarity and to deal with hate that happens within our communities. And as I was looking up the town hall, it says 1888, and we need to remember our history, because if we don't remember our history, we fail to create narratives that does not really explain or really give justice to the history. And so in 1888, this town hall wasn't just founded to be founded, it had to be negotiated. It had to be some discussion. There had to be some coming together. There had to be some talk about what the future would look like for the city and for the town of Barrington. Barrington did not start with how we look. Barrington started, and it was occupied by natives first who came. And natives who started. So Barrington was once an ancient Sowams occupied by the Wampanoags. And so we have to give credit where credit is due, because it did not start with us. It started with natives who negotiated and allowed us to occupy the land and to live within the land. And so when we come today to say that somebody does not have a right to live or to voice or to speak or to live in a community, woe unto us, because we need to know where it first started. It did not start with us. It started with others who allowed us to occupy the land and to want to live peacefully one with another. And so when Roger Williams came, when Roger Williams came, Roger Williams was running from a state that was intolerant. He was running from a state that did not allow people the right to be able to practice their religion, to practice worship, to practice living in freedom. And so he moved out of Massachusetts, came to a place where they allowed him, and they said, "What cheer, what good, you can be here." And because of what they allowed him to do, he said, then we should have a state where people could freely practice their worship, as well as have a lively experiment of how to live in peace, in harmony, in justice, in love with one another, even if there are some indifferences. And so woe unto us if in 2021 we can try to oppress and try to discriminate and try to withhold somebody from doing what the originator that was allowed to have land to do. And so we're here to experiment with one another, to love one another, to practice how do we deal with indifferences and still be able to worship and say, you may have your opinion, I have my opinion, but it does not silence the right from us to love one another, even when we may not see it the same way. And so today we stand with Candace. We stand with those who are fighting against injustice and oppression and discrimination and inequality, inequity of all kinds. We will not tolerate that and bear it. We can't tolerate it. So we stand with Candace. My Bible tells me in Ecclesiastes 5:6, it says, don't let your mouth make a total fool of yourself. When called to account, you won't get by with saying, sorry, I didn't mean it. That's what my Bible says. Why risk provoking God by angry retaliation? Could I say to you that God is angry with how somebody can put a sign on somebody else's residence instead of trying to come together? God is speaking today, and that's why we are here today, because regardless of what religion, regardless of what place of worship, regardless of what you believe, we all have a sense of consciousness that we have been given to know what's right and to know what's wrong. And so today I speak blessings on a community that will stand against injustice, that will fight for solidarity, that will stand for peace, that will stand for equity, that will stand for unity, that will stand for agreement. And today I speak as a spiritual leader that we will not stand for fear. We will not stand for prejudice. We won't stand for injustice. We won't stand for bigotry. We won't stand for hatred. And so hate has no home here. Hate has no home here. Hate has no home here. I speak to the spirits. Hate has no home here. We stand with Candace. And Candace, we need to let you know that you're not alone. You're not by yourself. But there is a community that is standing with you. And my Bible says that when you stand and doing all to withstand against the evil day, because no weapon formed against those that stand for justice and stand for peace and stand for what is right, nothing can come against it. No weapon formed can prosper. So somebody, you need to know you're a blessed somebody. You're a blessed community when you stand for what is right, when you stand up against injustice, when you stand up for peace. And so that's why we're here today. Black lives still matter. Our lives matter. Candace, your life matter. And we will not tolerate somebody thinking they can say whatever, do whatever, act however, and get away with it. We'll stand, we'll fight, we'll speak, we'll move, we'll do whatever gotta be done. Because if God is for us, He's more than injustice and racism and prejudice and bigotry against us. Now somebody say amen and clap your hands and let God know what He's about. Thank you for having me. God bless you all.